Hello and thanks for joining the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. It's so great to be back. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, President Muhammadu Buhari beat Atiku Abubakar in 2019 presidential election as Atiku rejects results, vows to challenge the outcome in courts. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Wahid Bakare. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Victory is definitely sweet for those who toiled to achieve it. For the All Progressive Congress APC, it is time to savor the exhilaration of victory after the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) declared its presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari winner of Saturday's presidential election. President Buhari scored 15.2 million votes and won in 19 states to beat his main challenger, Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, who polled 11.3 million votes and was victorious in 17 states, quite close. While President Buhari has thanked Nigerians for their votes and urged APC supporters to be magnanimous in victory, Atiku has rejected the results, citing irregularities in many states. He has vowed to challenge the outcome in court. Meanwhile, on many occasions on this program, I asked Babajide about the chances of President Buhari in the presidential race, and he always insisted that he is the candidate to beat anytime, any day. Let us share one of those moments with you. Jide, moving forward now, if Mr. President comes back, or anytime he comes back, I see a president that will be under another pressure, because from the vibes I'm getting, Mr. President they might just urge him to just take a shot at the 2019 election, because with the options on ground, a lot of people will say that, look, if Muhammadu Buhari still say he's going to run for that presidency, that he's a candidate to beat anytime.
He won't come in immediately and be talking about 2019. No. But if you want to know whether today, especially in northern Nigeria, and the votes from northern Nigeria are essential, if the president decides to run, I go to the north all the time. If the president decides to run, there's nobody out there. And I'm saying it with a high sense of responsibility, with God watching me. There's nobody out there in the north who can defeat him. He's still extremely popular. If you doubt me, call people. Call journalists that you know have the decency to say the truth to their friends. He's still extremely popular. How do you gauge people's popularity? You see, long after Muritala died, you still see Muritala's picture. You see people, Marwa riders in the north, Okada riders in the north, you still see them stick Muritala's picture to their Okadas.
Yeah,
Up till today, there is no one alive that people stick his picture to their vehicles, to their Okadas, to their tricycles, like Muhammadu Buhari. And that's why I called him the super tanker of Nigerian politics. He's still like that. So for him, it is actually, rather than turn against him because he's healed, there is a lot of pity and people are waiting. That's why that musician sang that song in Kasina, that Soho, Yasoka de Kwari. Once that time that the president came back, he said the old man has come back with gravitas. He stepped down from the plane with so much strength. And he's saying again that Inka Senka Kasata Kagudu, if you know that you've stolen money and you know Buhari is approaching, take to your heels. It is still very popular in the north.
7 months down the line. That was August 18, 2018. 2018. Babajide, we said it, and when you look at the spread and you do a kind of breakdown of all the results, the analysis you made, we're talking about the northern part of the country. Yes. And President Muhammadu Buhari made inroads into even the southern part of the country. He wasn't so impressive in the southwest, but he made some gains ahead of what he did in 2015 in the southeast and the south-south.
Yes, that's to be expected. When we had that program, I first and foremost, I know that you must have asked me up to 5 times whether Buhari will win. And on all occasions, I said, I still don't see how he can be defeated. We can't begin to play back all of those.
Looking for the archives.
Yes. And I remember a senior colleague warning me that, Jide, stop sticking out your neck. But the truth about me is that if I believe in something, it will take a mighty effort to get me to not affirm my belief in that thing. So he told me, look, don't, because you have a future after this whole political season, that if the president loses, then what will you tell people? And even on Twitter, someone was abusing me, and he said, I want to see how your face will look on the day Buhari is declared loser of the presidential election. So rather than reply him, I just simply ignored him, and I paid little attention to Twitter, because the truth is, our people don't like to be told the truth. If they support Atiku, they want to hear from you all the time that Atiku is the one who will win. If they support Buhari, you must not criticize him. You know, a lot of our friends, we've lost friends on account of simply saying that the president needs to do this, the president needs to do that. That is our work. That's our job. We are paid as journalists. We are not politicians. So anytime you criticize the president, oh, some people's blood will boil. As if it is our job to praise the president all the time. No. But the president is not someone who pretends. He knows the real people who tell him the truth. And he's not the sort of person who likes to be lied to all the time. No, he will not enjoy the company of such persons. All these people who want to kill themselves on Facebook, when some Nigerians were running away from this president, some of us, I was correspondent of the news, and in Kaduna, we were the people, we had the courage to go and visit him in his house. So if we criticize him, it's because we want him to improve, so that Nigeria can be better for all of us. People don't get that. They think that, oh, he must not criticize the president. I mean, it's borderline insanity to imagine that a man must never be criticized. So, but we are consistent. When you ask that problem, what's likely to happen? We are consistent because that's what we see. When you ask the question, Obasanjo, what will happen? I said it that this government is different to Jonathan. The more Obasanjo abuses them, the more determination that they will have to make sure they win the election, so that Obasanjo can be buried politically once and for all. And this is what has happened. There are more ass kickers in this government than Jonathan's government. I said it is on record. So the election has come and gone. We said the election will be close. Of course, by various parameters that you use, it has been a close contest. And Atiku has no reason to feel like someone who has lost something really big, because he's done well in this contest. When we go deep into how the contest went, you will see clearly he won more new states than the president won. He won 4 states that PDP didn't win in the last election.
He made inroad into the southwest.
Buhari only won 2 states outside of the states that he won in 2015. So I think Atiku should congratulate himself, because he's done well. States in the north where Jonathan didn't move close to recording 25%. He even exceeded, in some cases, he exceeded 40%. Like in Sokoto, he got 41%, the same way we had predicted. So he has no reason to now say he's going to court this and that. And I'm happy that Nigerians are appealing to him. That instead of even Agbako Basan, I said instead of going to court,
yes,
he should not go to court. Yesterday, one of the biggest items trending was hashtag make that call.
Yes.
which means that
The Jonathan
a,
score.
a considerable number of Nigerians were waiting for Atiku to simply call the president and say, congratulations. Because someone has won the election. You may not like the person who has won the election, but that is the reality. And the next thing to do, if you don't want to heat up the polity, because we remain one nation, one people, even after the election. So not only to heat up the polity, the right thing to do is to simply call the president and congratulate him for putting on a good show. And the president too will show magnanimity. He has already told the supporters that they don't need to humiliate the losers. But I'm not sure that a lot of those guys on Facebook, I'm not sure they will listen to the president's advice.
Most of them did not vote. Most of them did not vote.
Most of them do not even.
Social media.
Those are the people who even abuse you and I for being objective.
They did not vote.
They behave like they like Buhari more than even Aisha Buhari.
Okay, look at what happened in Lagos State. Lagos State with 6.5 million, or 6 million, over 6 million PVC was collected in Lagos State. At the end of the day, President Buhari had 600 and something thousand. And, you know, less than 1.2 million people actually voted in Lagos State.
I think that shows where the difference actually lies. You know, it is one thing for people to have PVC. It is another thing for them to make use of those PVCs. And I think a similar scenario played out in 2015, except that I cannot remember precisely which of the southeastern states, whereby we had over, I think, around 1.4 million registered voters who actually, I mean, those who actually collected PVC. But unfortunately, on the day of the election, less than 500,000 of them came out. So who are you going to blame? If, for instance, you are so sure about your candidate, why did you come out with your PVC as a way of making the difference? You know, I remember that in 2015, in the area where I was living as at that time, you know, a lot of people that had parked out of the area, they slept overnight. So it's because they want to perform their civic responsibility. They want to make sure that they vote. In 2019, I've also moved out of the area I was in 2015, but because I also had the determination that I wanted to vote, I left my area and I came here to vote, you know, and I went back. So a lot of people made that sacrifice, but unfortunately, you know, we have a situation whereby people, I think it will have given us the opportunity of knowing the level of participation, the actual level of participation of people. Because what is the need if over 5 million registered, over 5 million collected PVC, and at the end of the day, you know, a very insignificant number of those people actually voted on the day of election. It's not the number of PVC that we are going to use to determine whoever emerge as the winner. It's the number of people that actually cast their vote on the day of the election.
What's even the point in taking the pain to go and collect PVC?
You
When you will not use it.
I think the reason why some people even also took the PVC is because of the fear that maybe in the nearest future there might be need for them to use it for something else apart from voting. That's why you see a lot of people, you know, doing that. You know, it's not the right way to go. You know, and people like that, they will be the one that we at the end of the day keep complaining about the type of leadership that we have. When you yourself, you don't do anything to change or to affirm the leadership that you have. And the only way you can do that is for you to exercise that franchise. It's your inalienable right. And nobody is taking that right from you. But only that you yourself, you try to take it away from yourself. And you can't blame anybody for it. People like that should not complain because they have the opportunity of voting and they refuse to vote.
Today, President Buhari, in Oyo State and in Ondo State, what happened? We thought the Southwest is like the fortress of the APC. What happened in Oyo and Ondo State?
Everywhere, you know, we were complaining, we were talking about the division in the APC. And every time I criticize the party, I even describe the party as dysfunctional. People get angry. They don't want you to talk about the problems of the APC. But you need to talk about the problems of the APC so that the leaders can sit up and realize what they are up against. I know a friend of mine that every time I say, look, APC, they have crisis in Adamawa, they have crisis in Ogun, and all that, you will say, what of the crisis in the PDP? What of the crisis? The truth is, you should be concerned about the crisis in your own party and how you can solve the problem. What's your business with the PDP? So does it mean that if PDP is doing something evil, something bad, you must copy them?
It.
You see the way we are. And we ignore those problems, we refuse to solve those problems until those problems give us a kick in the groin. Oh, that is what has happened. You look at Oyo State, they had internal crisis. We can't deny. Everywhere the APC has not been able to do significantly well in this area and even beyond the southwest, it is because of crisis, one crisis or the other. Let's start with Ondo State. They probably have 3 factions of the party in Ondo State. And the governor has done nothing to unify the party. Because once you become the governor, you become the father of all.
Ever since that time, he has not been
remember after he was sworn in, and he was complaining about borough fees, that, oh, somebody who did nothing to support them in the election. After they won the election, he now did a newspaper, paid advice the newspaper to congratulate. And he said, no, we cannot be fooled. He must come and apologize. And I said, what's all this? You've won the election. What again do you expect God to do for you? All you need to do is say, gentlemen, we are all winners. It is one party.
It's time to move
on. Come together. Let's come together. If he had acted that way, if he had brought all of them together and all of them decided to sing from one hymnal, there's no way that what happened will have happened. Instead, what did we see? He was sponsoring candidates against the candidates of his own party.
I think Tunji Abayomi ran against Ajayi Borough-Fees.
But he couldn't stop Borough-Fees. So you have a situation in which not only did PDP win in Ondo State, PDP has the potential to produce 2 senators because they have 1 senator, then 1 is in contention. But the one in contention, that's senator won about 2/3 of the local governments in his senatorial zone. So how to stop him is a problem. So they may eventually come away with 2 senators.
2 senators.
Which was not the case before. So you cause yourself to roll back some of the gains that you made because of petty squabbles, needless quarrels amongst them. I remember Amechi warning them, although the question is whether Amechi is really the right person to be warning them.
Does he have the locus?
Amechi was warning them that, look, if you don't come together, PDP will win, during the campaigns. Amechi himself, who cannot put his own house in order, is standing on the podium advising people about the need to come together when he has not been able to bring his own people together in Rivers. And you can see the crisis. The greatest opportunity that they had to kick Wike into touch, as they say in football, they bungled it because of Amechi's ego and his inability to unite the people under him as the leader of the party. So moving from Ondo, in Oyo, they also had crisis. They had crisis arising from the primaries and all that. And the governor did not realize that he was in a vulnerable position.
Former governor Alao left.
You can imagine on the eve of election.
Lamadishino left.
On the eve of election, the governor was still suspending local government chairman.
Suspended the son of Alao Akala.
And everyone knows that in that part of Oyo State, Akala has no rival. Wherever he goes, the people go with him. Since his days as DPO, that area has become extremely popular. They call him Oyato. He's popular. It's not we may not like him as a person, but it doesn't stop us from saying the truth. So when you quarrel, when you do that, they are likely to gang up. And what you didn't realize, you see, you can actually be governor of a state, win the overall election to be governor, but you may not be able to win senatorial election because when you break it down, in 2015, if the PDP had not had issues amongst themselves in the Oyo State, there's no way Ajimobi will have won the election. Because when you tally the votes that Ladoja recorded with that of with those of Makinde and Teslim Folani, their votes will be more than that of Ajimobi, meaning that if they had remained as one, instead of going their separate ways, they probably PDP would probably have won the state.
Senator Ajimobi too lost.
Now, I'm coming to that. In 2015, Ladoja won more local governments with his Accord party in Ibadan Municipal than Governor Ajimobi. Governor Ajimobi was able to retain the governorship on the strength of votes from Okeogun, that's Oyo North, and parts of Ogbomoso. So now when he is down to a few local governments in the senatorial race, if he cannot dominate the local governments in Ibadan zone, there's no way he's going to win the election. So if 2015 is replayed in a way, where does he go to get the votes from? Ordinarily, the governor should have handled the case of this senator, that one of these loyal APC senators who refused to defect. What's his name again? The one that Saraki and Co put his name on the list of the defectors. Okay. Is the senator representing that zone, and he now said no, that I'm not. I did not defect. I will remember his name later. The chairman of the party promised him. He promised him that I think it's Akambi, Abi. The chairman, Senator Akambi. The chairman of the party promised him a ticket, but the governor said he was interested in that ticket. And I remember Oshomole saying, "Look, you governors can go elsewhere, but I promised these senators tickets in return for their loyalty to the party." But greedy APC governors will not agree. So at the end of the day, the guy was forced to leave the party, and he scored almost 50,000 votes. So if he had remained in the party or placated it, if they had given him something and he remained in the party, chances are that those votes will have gone to Governor Ajimobi. But he left, he too contested against the governor and got 40-something thousand votes. At the end of the day, the governor was defeated.
What happened in Kano?
Well, in Kano, you know, when Atiku went for his rally, you can see how massive, you know, the crowd was. I
couldn't reconcile it with the figure.
And there was this fear that, you know, and I think one of the dailies, national dailies, they say that the crowd that Atiku pulled has utter equation of things in the north, you know, saying that
a lot of people were talking about that crowd.
It's going to be 50-50
the Kano crowd
of the team. But like Jide said, you know, Buhari still has that cult-like followership in the north. There's nothing anybody can do about it. You know, the process that produced Buhari as a re-elected president might not have been, you know, perfect. There might be itches here and there, but the fact remains that people in the corner, they still like him. Even those of them in Lagos, I was surprised. I was talking to some Hausa, you know, we were just playing. Are you for Atiku? Yeah, they say no, me I'm for Buhari. Hey, this one me I'm for Buhari. I was in their midst. You know, it's that same thing that is being replicated in the north. You know, they have that belief, they have so much belief in Buhari than in Atiku. Like some of us had predicted, we are even told that the battleground will be the southwest. But I remember that in our Saturday edition of Saturday Technical, we did say that it is the vote from the 5 states that have the highest number of voters that will eventually determine and if you listen to what the governor can do this, he said those who are saying that it was doctored, they are not the people that are really on the ground. You know, that the forces there, you know, working for the interest of Buhari is so dominant compared to, it's not about the crowd. People, to get crowd is not difficult during campaign, because I'm aware of the fact that a lot of people were being mobilized. We also did a story to that effect that people were being given money to attend the rally. It's not about the rally, it's about what will happen on the day of the election. And Buhari has proven that, you know, Kano you know, is one of his strongest bases, you know, and that's why he was able to garner as much as that vote.
1.4 million?
Yes, you know, and you know,
Lower than 1.9 million he had in 2015.
You know, the problem is that, you know, the kind of apathy that we have here, they don't have it there. People will make use of their PVC. They will come out to vote en masse. They don't care. The only thing that even help us here is because of the way they alter the arrangement this time around, whereby as you are being accredited, you are voting. You know, that also encouraged a lot of people to stay behind and vote. But in the north, they were ready to do it for Buhari, and these are his core supporters.
Did they, as you saw it coming, Atiku showed up strongly in the south and the southeast, and he didn't do so well in the north. So it's like a divided thing, and President Buhari actually moved into had some states in the north central.
Yes, Buhari won more states in the north central. You know, I had warned that if the PDP should win either 4 or 5 states in the north central, President Buhari will not be elected. So they concentrated a lot of their energies on the north central. And you know, I said last week that Buhari has never or had never won Nasarawa and the FCT. So they concentrated resources, their strategies on Nasarawa to ensure that the president wins in Nasarawa. He still couldn't win in Abuja. In fact, he lost the Aso Rock polling unit and all those satellite towns around the federal capital. He was well defeated in those places. But in Kogi, in Kwara,
Showed up.
he made big gains. And even in Plateau and Benue, where we expected him to win, to lose. He lost by narrow margins. So this was the difference maker. Once he was able to narrow the gap between him and Atiku in places where he lost, then it will be difficult for Atiku to
Cover up.
Yes, because in the southeast, we knew that no matter what Buhari did, they will not vote for him in the southeast. You know? So, and the margin of the win will be huge. But because traditionally in the southeast, they don't vote that much.
The whole of the region, 24%.
Yes, if you look at
of the region, the
percentage of wins there were huge. But for some of those states, like Ebonyi, Imo, Abia, the president was able to get more than 25% of the vote, which is significant. It's the same strategy that Atiku, as people, had for the Northwest.
Okay.
But they didn't succeed that much, apart from Kaduna, where they scored 39 point something percent, which is like 40%, and Sokoto, where they scored 41% of the votes. In the Northwest generally, they didn't really show up. In Niger, where Buhari is also very strong, Atiku scored about 26%, which is also significant. It's the first time that they've made such gains. So the North Central was a battleground, and the Northwest, and the Southwest, you know, we said the election will be close in the Southwest. If you see the margin of the win, I think it's the margin, the difference was about 200 and something. I think this is 259,000. Yes, is the difference in favor of APC. Both parties, the APC scored 2,036,450, and PDP scored 1,776,760.
Close contest.
Yes, so we knew that it would be like that. You know, our people are so independent-minded. When it comes to voting, they rarely think of religion or other ethnic considerations. They just vote for you. You know, in Lagos the average Yoruba man does not care whether you are a Christian or a Muslim. They relate with you effectively. If you are deserving of their vote, they will give it to you. So, and it's like that across. See how keen the contest was in Osun. Just a difference of 10,000 votes or so. And it was even lesser in Oyo. It was a difference of about 1,000 votes. So if anyone said,
You know, we have commercial. We take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Welcome back. This is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental, and we are doing a kind of post-mortem of the presidential and national assembly election held last Saturday. Babajide, tell me, what happened in states like Taraba, Benue, and Plateau states?
Taraba has never voted APC. It's voted PDP since 1999. So I was expecting them to retain the state. One significant thing is that Atiku retained all the traditional PDP states and added 4 new states. You know, so you have to give him credit for that. Now in Taraba, the APC has been making gains in the last few months. They've been making gains. They came up with a strong candidate for the governorship race, and they've actually been making gains. So PDP won, but the gap was not really wide. Yes, so there are states like that you know that this is the party that will always win, but it doesn't mean that they will win with a very wide margin. It's the same thing in, you know, the APC was the ruling party in both Plateau and Benue. So, but after Governor Otom defected to the PDP, the PDP has become stronger in the state. You have people like Suswam, all of the former governor. They are now working together. They are now pulling in the same direction. So they are stronger, and they were able to defeat the APC and ensure that the kingmaker of Benue politics, George Akume, lost his senatorial zone. They pumped the resources there. They worked hard. The major APC federal lawmakers, they made sure that they did not come back. So they are defeated, and PDP recorded victory across the 3 senatorial zones. But the margin of victory was not significant in the presidential election, but they made very big gains in the National Assembly election. In Plateau, we expected that too. The governor has done well in that state, but the feeling that people have that the matter of herdsmen killings had not been addressed properly caused a lot of people to vote against the APC. We saw it coming. We knew that that state would not be won by the APC. But in spite of that, the president did well because the margin was also close. So it's, when you do a state-by-state analysis, you see many places where the battle was close, including Adama. Naturally, Buhari was expected to win Adama because Adamawa is the root of Buhari in politics. When Buhari came into politics, his friends, like the late AVM Mukhtar, were the people who introduced him to politics, and they are Adamawa people. His friend, the former minister, I think, of education, Mahmoud Tukur, these are all Adamawa people. And that is why you see that the president has always been strong in the Northeast, because that is the heart of, that is the root of his involvement in politics, and he still has substantial structures and substantial following in that area. But it is difficult for Nigerians to see their own person contesting for the presidency in a potentially close race, and you expect them to go and vote for someone else. We have not reached that level. Every time people are faced with that situation, they always vote for their own person. That's why you saw that the Adamawa, Atiku was able to win, despite some of the funny results posted
Earlier.
on social media that Buhari had defeated him in his polling unit. Buhari had defeated him in the election. It was Atiku that carried the day in the end, I think with about 38,000 votes.
But PDP raised this poser, actually. In Yobe, in Adamawa, and in Borno states, where they are having crisis of insurgency and everything, that they were able to vote, and they voted more than states that are relatively peaceful. They raised this, the PDP guys raised this during the collation, saying that the whole southeast, but how come that this is the number of votes they are getting from the southeast, and in Yobe, that there are incessant attacks at places. They had massive votes. What's happening here?
Yes, if you look at Borno precisely, on the day of the election, in the early hour of the day of the election, you know, there were pockets of rocket, explosion here and there in some states. But that did not extend to the whole of Borno. But to the glory of God and to the gallantry effort of our soldiers, they were able to quell that early enough. Perhaps that also encouraged people. If you also listen to the broadcast of the president, you know, he did assure Nigerians, especially those areas where you have crisis, like Borno and the rest of them, that maximum security will be guaranteed as a way of encouraging the people to come out, you know. And if you look at the way people vote in the north, like I said earlier on, compared to the way people vote in the southeast, they are not the same. You know, there is more apathy in that part of the country. But for the northerners, they will always come out and you know, exercise their franchise. For me, I think that is why I even think Atiku should go to court if he feels strongly about it, because he is the one who wears the shoes. He should know where it pinches. Perhaps he has some information that you and I don't have, you know, as a principal actor in that contest. You know, let him go and try his luck in the court of law. Either way, it will in a way strengthen our democracy. If it does, it will, in the sense that, you know, perhaps there are some loopholes, you know, that we never envisaged that happened. When they get to court and things like that are sorted out, it will in a long way help us in the nearest future. If on the other hand decide to put a call through to Buhari and say, Your Excellency, I congratulate you, it's also in a way, you know, strengthen our democracy. It will also in a way, you know, show that he has also joined the league of Jonathan, who deemed it fit, you know, to congratulate the president after he has been declared as the winner. So whichever way we look at it, it will at the end of the day help us to strengthen our democracy. That's the way I feel about it.
Babajide, let's look at our National Assembly. We have very, very funny texture, and we have a situation by the PDP made a lot, the APC made a lot of gains in terms of the number of senatorial seats. I don't have the exact number right now, but as at the last time, somebody was still talking about 60-something. I don't know, maybe it's more than that. So,
at least 60.
So if out of 109, and they're even talking about 200 and something in the House of Representatives. So we are looking at the ninth assembly that they might have a simple majority or a majority, absolute, overwhelming majority of that National Assembly. Ojizo Kalu came in from Abia State, very, very unlikely quarters. He's coming in from Abia State. Senator Omoagege is coming from Delta State. He retained his seat. And we had some other senators that will be coming in from different states. While some fell out by the road, some actually retained their seats, and we had a new introduction.
Yes, and I think it's a good sign that we'll have some fresh faces, although the best thing is to have senators who have the experience, legislative experience.
Patrick Obaigbo is coming back from the House of Rep now to Senate.
It's not easy to train legislators. It takes a while
to understand the rules,
to understand the processes and all that. But consistently in Nigeria, every election year we lose so many ranking senators, and it's not good for the system. But you know, a lot of the big wigs fell by the wayside. Akpabios of this world. They are
Saraki.
not coming Bukola Saraki. So, but people like the Senate leader, Ahmed Lawan,
Lawan is coming.
from Yobe,
Yeah.
is coming, and the
Ali Ndume is
the
coming.
governor of Yobe too is coming. Ali Ndume too is coming. He has experience. I expect him to be among the leaders when he's forthright, he's radical, he speaks the truth. You know, so I expect him to be one of those who made the difference. And Dino Melaye is coming back. He's shown that he's popular.
In his own constituency.
Yes, in his Kogi West constituency, whether in Lokoja or open land, Dino is popular. The people want him, and sovereign power lies with the
people.
With the people.
Yeah, in
When
spite of his
comes
relationship with the governor, I thought the governor was going to
democracy.
concentrate in how to stop him.
No, he wanted to stop him, but he will have to stop the people to be able to stop Dino. It's not as if he didn't make efforts to stop him, you know. But when the people are determined, it is difficult because.
And he won a very senior person, Smart Adeyemi,
Yes.
that has been to the Senate.
Who has been in the Senate, who has experience. And all that.
Mm.
It's about the people determining
What they want.
Yes, that this is what they want. The governor can spend all his time trying to make the pave way for Smart, make the whole thing crooked for Smart. During the primaries of the APC, the governor still manage everything just so that Smart can emerge. Can imagine doing the accreditation for the senatorial primaries of Kogi West. You did the senatorial primaries here for Kaba. You now took them for the voting proper. You took them to somewhere many miles from where they did accreditation. In the process, many of those people did not vote because it was already even 10 p.m. You just suffered people because you had made up your mind that it has to be Smart Adeyemi that we match. But at the end of the day, what has happened? The people felt that Dino, in spite of his theatrics, showed greater compassion towards them, served them better. So we can look at him like someone who doesn't know what he's doing, you know, who is just fit to be laughed at. But at the end of the day, the people have all the power. You know, they say this is the person that they want, then we must respect their verdict. That is what has happened. It doesn't mean that, oh, we are crazy about Dino. You know, and the people, when you say the truth, they say, oh, he likes Dino. Oh, he likes Bukola Saraki. What is the truth that we are talking about? And we predicted a long time ago that that the government had made Dino unnecessarily popular, and that if they went into a contest, he will win. I said it that even from hospital bed, he will win the election.
I'm coming. What happened to Bukola Saraki? Because they couldn't get to impeach him. They didn't get the number. Jide has said it on this program severally that it's going to be difficult to impeach Bukola Saraki, not knowing that the APC guys were locking behind and waiting for the election proper. And this Otoge movement has, like, you know, consumed everywhere in Kwara State. We want to even congratulate Alhaji Lai Mohammed himself. Alhaji Lai Mohammed is now a godfather. He's now the leader of Kwara State politics. Congratulations, Alhaji.
You know, interestingly, that's my state, you know, and I take more than a passing interest in whatever will happen there, you know. Like Jesus said, this election has proven that people matters a lot. It's about the people. You know, prior before now, you know, rarely will you see Saraki campaign in Ilorin. For what? It is given that he will get whatever he wants. As far as politics is concerned in that state, you know, having been well tutored by his father, having also inherited the political structure of his late dad, you know, family in his hand. So it is given that whoever he presents, or if he himself is coming out, but things turn around dramatically for him with the emergence of this Otoge movement, whereby, you know, people now begin to think. People now begin to think. It was a movement, a massive movement.
Yes.
You know, and the only thing they could do was just to respond with another movement, which they now call Otunya.
Otunya.
So it now became a battle between Otoge and Otunya. For those viewers who don't really understand Yoruba, Otoge is like enough is enough. While Otunya is let's continue. And people are saying that, no, we are fed up. Let's try a new thing this time around. You know, and for the first time, I think they smelled that there is going to be a problem. Immediately they lost that by-election, you know, in which the one that was APC eventually won down after the death of that woman. You know, they knew that there was a problem, and they did all they could, you know, to garner that support. But you know, people have made up their mind. They have made up their mind, and they are saying they are not going back. And they came out massively to vote. You know, it's never in doubt that when people have made up their mind that this is what they want, and that's why it is not good for politicians to continue to subvert the will of the people. Let the people have their say.
And I think it wasn't about central people alone.
No.
Everybody, they won the 3 senatorial
yes,
seats.
even with the last minute joker that he brought, you know, by entering into an alliance with the Kwara North, with the promise that his gubernatorial candidate will do only one term, while he will take it to you know, why the youth
can promise you something today.
Why the youth bought into it? The elders, who might have seen the possibility of that thing not working out, they kick against it, and they stood their ground on the day of the election that no, we have had enough of you. You go back to the drawing board and see whatever you can do. So that massive movement was too powerful for him for Saraki to stop this time around. That's why it became difficult for him.
Ibrahim Oloriegbe was in our office. You remember, yes, Jide, he came to my office, and it was like, that was the first time I got to hear of Otoge when you were greeting Dr. Oloriegbe. But
I go to Ilorin. My parents are in Ilorin, so you see everywhere you go, songs have been composed. Songs have been composed over on this Otoge matter. You know, some of them, even the Christian song, they now adopted the Christian song and they are singing it. Otoge, Otoge, Otitoge, Ìbànújẹ́ nínú ayé mi, Otoge, àṣedànù nínú ayé mi, Oto. So all kinds of songs about this Otoge thing. Everywhere once Saraki lands at the airport in Kwara, they will just come out from nowhere. And they will start running after his vehicle. You know? You start running after his vehicle and be swearing at him. So I'm like, I've never seen the people demonstrate so much hatred for an individual at the level that they went. And I was calling my friends that, look, what is going on? Can you people still win this election with what we are seeing? But of course, politicians are very optimistic people. They will tell you that they will win. Before you see a politician who will confess to you that, this election, you'll be like, I will lose. So, you will try. You won't find anyone. They will tell you that they will win, even when they know they are staring defeat in the face. They will tell you they will win. But the greatest signal that things had changed was that by-election.
Yes.
You know, to replace Honorable Funke Adedoyin. You know, so look at the way the people spoke. You can say that area had always been had largely voted for progressives, but in the past, Bukola Saraki's political family had won from there. So in the past they've done marvelously well in that area. So one cannot say, oh, it's because that has never been their base. They've won contests there in the past. So after that, people, the Otoge movement began to grow. Somebody suggested that, oh, it's because AA they brought AA was the son of one of the most distinguished Ilorin citizens, the first lawyer from northern Nigeria. But that's not the first time that a distinguished that from a distinguished family, someone will be brought out to compete against Saraki, and they've not always won.
We have Begore,
you know, they've always contested.
It's from the same Ilorin.
Yeah, from Ilorin, there are many brilliant people, you know, tremendously endowed people from Ilorin, but it has always been difficult for those elites to deal with the Saraki family, and there's so much hatred There's so much hatred for the family, but they've always struggled and struggled, but he remained unbeatable. But the moment he moved out of the ruling party, he became vulnerable.
In Ekiti State, our friend, Honorable MOB, Michael Okoyemi Bamidele is back. I mean, he's the senator. He used to be in the House of Representatives, and Dayo Adeyeye is back. Dayo Adeyeye dislodged Princess Adedoyin, a ranking senator.
You know,
Olujimi, sorry.
Senator.
In your, yes, you have a new senator now, in your constituency.
I think I must at this point congratulate Dr. Fayemi, for doing so well for his party. For doing so well for his party, and that shows that
return all the House of Rep members, return all
in any place.
The 16-0 that Fayose gave them
in 2014,
for which they struggled to admit that it was that this was what they did got. That's what they have done now.
That's what they have done. Balance the equation.
It's 16-0. Yes. This contest is 16-0. And so now if I say comes out and say no, this is for his photochromic. Oh, this thing is
also take it back.
You know how bad it can be. So they were well beaten that time, 16-0. As I keep saying it, I say it without shame.
Mojil will not be happy with us.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he feels. That is what happened. Now they too have served revenge. They've served Fayose with a plate of vengeance. They served him with a meal of vengeance, very cold meal of vengeance of 16-0. So that is politics, and it makes it all the more interesting.
All the House of Reps,
and that shows you that there is so much strength in unity. It dated back to when they wanted to contest against Fayose. They put their house together. All the aggrieved parties were brought together. Before then, Okoyemi Bamidele and Fayose, they were working at cross purposes. As a carryover of what happened when the two of them faced Fayose that time. We have a situation whereby one of them was prevailed to step down for the other, and they refused. But this time around, they close the rank and make sure that they are able
quickly before we go. Owele Rochas Anayo Okorocha won the senatorial seat.
Well, before I speak about him, I have to correct what I said earlier about the late AVM Mukhtar. Yes, AVM Mukhtar, very close friend of Buhari, but he was not a native of Adamawa. He was actually from Duse in Jigawa State.
Okay.
But every other things that I said were true. Owele Rochas struggled. He promised to deliver Imo to President Buhari. He didn't even come close to delivering it.
He had 140,000 votes. So
he didn't come close to they just struggled to make the 25% mark. So he couldn't deliver it. Now, he has the senatorial ticket now, but the big battle for him is ahead.
Governorship.
That's the governorship race.
Okay, Ibukule Amosu is not a senator.
Yes,
and he said he's back. He said he's back to campaign for his APM.
APM. I think in a way, you can also see that because of the crisis there, that's why PDP was also able to make certain gains, which ordinarily they wouldn't have made. Because of the crisis, they also capitalized on that crisis.
It's PDP that suffered more because supporters of Adebutu supported
APC.
Oh, supported.
Otherwise,
the APC had
the PDP votes would have been higher than that. If we check previous elections, there was no time that the PDP vote was that low.
We could go on and on, but it's an ongoing thing. As the results will be breaking down one by one. I want to thank you, Wahid Bakari. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Babajide Kolade Otitoju. We'll do this again tomorrow by God's grace. Yeah. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join me tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/tvcnews.tv. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.